Hi, and welcome back to the Adored Woman podcast with me, Naomie Thompson. In this episode, I'm going to be sharing with you how to spot when a man is emotionally available. In fact, I'll share with you 8 signs that he is emotionally available. This is going to be so valuable for you if you're dating, but also if you are in a relationship with a man and you are wondering, is he going to be great partnership material for me? Then this episode is going to be really important listen for you. Before we get started, if you want to learn even more, I have a free training called The 9 Aspects of the Adored Woman. It's my free gift for you, and I would love for you to have it. I will leave a link in the show notes for you, and you will be able to get that training immediately. So, is he emotionally available? This took me a long time to learn. And I, like many of us, got pulled by chemistry. I got pulled by chemistry to chase guys that turned out to be really wrong for me. So it really did take me a long time to learn. But when I finally did, everything about finding a great man to share my life with really just fell into place. And in this episode, we'll talk about how to recognize a man who is actually genuinely emotionally available and relationship ready. So not the man who feels exciting and intoxicating and keeps you up at night wondering what he's thinking or if he's into you. Not the man who gives you the butterflies and then disappears for 3 days. That uncertainty may just be a feeling that you are familiar with. I'm talking about the man who is emotionally available, the man who is capable of being a real partner in life. The man who, when you look back 5 years from now, you'll be so glad you chose. Because here is the thing, chemistry can blind you. It blinded me at times. That rush of excitement, that adrenaline, that feeling of, I don't know where I stand with him, but I can't stop thinking about him. So you might have been trained by films and books to think that that is love and that is what love is supposed to feel like. But it isn't. Instant chemistry feels incredible, but it's not a reliable indicator of compatibility. It's a great way to get humans together to mate on a primal level. That chemistry is there for a purpose. But as a reliable indicator of compatibility, it is not one. But you know you are onto a good thing when compatibility leads to chemistry. Compatibility does not always lead to chemistry, but it can do. And when it does, well, then you've really struck gold. So today I want to give you those 8 signs to look for, real, practical, observable signs that the man in front of you is genuinely emotionally available and ready for a relationship. So the first sign is consistency and reliability. And this is the simplest and probably the most obvious of all the signs. He does what he says he'll do. That's it. He says he'll call, he calls. He makes a plan, he shows up. He doesn't leave you wondering or guessing or checking your messages constantly or trying to work out what's happening. You will feel settled and not unsettled. Now, I know that might sound almost boring compared to the roller coaster you might be used to, but I really want you to hear this, that feeling of, I don't know what's going on with him. Is he going to message? What does that mean? Is he into me? That confusion isn't chemistry, that's anxiety. And anxiety is not the foundation of a great relationship. And even if he is pursuing you solidly right now and you're in the first few weeks and you find him really hot and your chemistry is flowing, you want to let a man show you with his consistent actions over time that he can be a great partner for you. And the key here is these are consistent actions over a period of time. A period of time, this can be a period of months. Anyone can show up as their most best, reliable, loving, pursuing selves in a first couple of months. But we want to know, is he consistent over time? And when a man is consistent and reliable, your nervous system can relax. And a relaxed nervous system is how you get to know who someone actually is, rather than spending all your energy managing the uncertainty of whether he's going to show up and how you can get him to show up. So the kind of man whose default way of being is to be consistently present, is to be reliable, is, in my experience and my opinion, the only kind of man who can be a great partner for you and give you the stable, loving relationship you want. So watch for this consistent, reliable man. It is quiet and it's undramatic. He'll be the one that will probably check in with you before the date just to confirm everything so that you know where you're meeting him. He will show up in those kind of subtle ways, quiet ways, but it is one of the most important things you'll ever notice in a man. So the second sign is active curiosity. So he is genuinely curious about you. He's not just asking questions for the sake of conversation. He is actually interested. So he will ask follow-up questions. He will remember what you told him last week and he will come back to it. He wants to know how you feel about things, not just what you think. So this kind of guy, he will go deeper than surface level because he actually wants to know who you are. And this matters more than you might realize, because a man who's emotionally available doesn't just want a warm body to spend time with. He doesn't just want a listening ear. He wants to know you. He wants to know your life, your values, your feelings, what makes you feel good, what you struggle with. And here is what's interesting. If a man is asking you a lot about yourself but sharing very little about himself, pay attention to that too. A man who's confident, genuinely looking for a relationship will be only too happy to share himself with you. So curiosity goes both ways. The third sign is that he can talk about himself. He's capable of open communication and vulnerability. He'll talk about his feelings about his past and the things that have been difficult for him, the way he's grown as a man. Now, I'm not saying he should be unloading his entire life history on the first date. That is its own red flag. And I'm not saying for 1 minute that you should step in as his coach or therapist and hold space for his emotions on a regular basis. But over time, as you get to know each other, an emotionally available man will let you in. He won't be a mystery. He won't be a wall, a brick wall. He'll be a person, messy and real and willing to be known. And crucially, he can handle uncomfortable conversations without shutting down or becoming defensive. Because here is the thing, and here is the truth. Every relationship, no matter how wonderful, requires difficult conversations at some point. If a man runs from the smallest bit of discomfort, say a video call before arranging to actually meet with him, or a question he doesn't know how to answer, or just some moment of tension, that tells you something important about what it will be like to be in a relationship with him. Notice how a man handles small discomforts, because the small ones are a preview of how he'll handle the big ones. So the fourth sign, his ability to listen. So this man is not just waiting for his turn to speak and offload on you. He's not half listening while looking at his phone. He's actually listening, so that when you tell him something, he hears it, he remembers it. He comes back to it. And this is rarer than it should be. And when you experience it really being listened to by a man, it feels remarkable, because you may have spent years in conversations where you were technically heard, but not really listened to. You know, Charlie will come back to things I said when we were early dating, even some things that were in my dating profile or in our messages when we first were in contact. And in our first conversations, he remembers them and he comes back because his energy is with me and his intention and mission is to make me happy. Now, an emotionally available man makes you feel seen. He will validate your feelings even when he doesn't fully understand them. He doesn't tell you you're being too sensitive or too much. Like, he takes you seriously and he allows you to be imperfect. And that feeling of being heard and seen and known by a man who really cares for you and loves you, well, it's one of the most wonderful, loving things. And it starts with how he listens. So the fifth sign is how he handles conflict, how he handles and can resolve disagreements, because there will be disagreements in every relationship, no matter how compatible you are. There will be moments of friction, of misunderstanding, hurt feelings. And it's not a sign that something is wrong. That's a sign that two real human beings are in a relationship together. What matters is what happens next. An emotionally available man doesn't punish you with silence. He doesn't disappear for 3 days when something difficult comes up. He doesn't make you feel like bringing up a concern means you're about to blow the whole relationship up. Yeah, he engages. He works through it. He comes back to repair it. And repair is one of the most underrated things in a relationship. The ability to say, that didn't go well. I didn't show up at my best. Let's work through this. Or you didn't deserve to be spoken to like that. That is emotional maturity. That is the sign of a man who can be a real partner to you through better or for worse. We say it very easily when we get married, for better or for worse. But actually, how many people are capable of being there when the times are tough? And you want a man who will be there for you in sickness as well as in health, in those difficult times. The sixth sign is he respects your no, he respects your boundaries, not grudgingly or sulking or withdrawing or making you feel guilty for having a boundary. He respects it because he respects you. He might not always like your boundary, but he respects it and he will cherish your feelings around it. An emotionally available man doesn't just tolerate your individuality, he actively encourages it. He wants you to have your own life and your own friendships, your own needs. He isn't threatened by you being a full person with your own views and limits and things that matter to you. So really, if a man is quite possessive, he wants you to be with him most of the time. He's putting down your friends and family. That's a huge red flag. To start with, it can feel intoxicating because, this guy is all about you and he just wants you to himself and he adores you. But actually, it's a real red flag to look out for. But knowing that an emotionally available man isn't threatened by you having loads of people in your life, passions, and also someone who is able to say no, this is such an important one because the man who respects your boundaries from the very beginning, when everything is still new and exciting, and he might be tempted to push those boundaries, when he respects them, he's showing you exactly who he is and how he will treat you for the long term. So each of these signs I'm sharing with you, just to look at in isolation, a man who is relationship ready and emotionally mature will have many of these signs, if not all of them, in fact. The seventh sign is that he makes genuine, consistent effort to spend time with you. And it's not just when it's convenient for him, not just when he wants sex or when he happens to be free. This guy plans, he prioritizes, he makes it clear with his actions. Being with you matters to him and is a priority to him. I remember a coaching client who kept telling me about the man she was seeing, saying he's really busy, he's got a lot on, and I don't want to be the needy girl. I don't want to be the needy woman. And I would just ask her, is he making time? Not is he busy? Is he making time for you and prioritizing you? Because here's what I know, and we all make time for what matters to us. A man who wants to be with you will find a way. A man who doesn't, no matter how valid his reasons, is showing you where you sit in order of his priorities. And you deserve to be a priority, not an afterthought or an option, a priority in a man's life. Because that way you know that when you've been together for many years and the initial flush of chemistry and excitement is over, that he is still going to prioritize you. You are going to be special and important in his life. And the eighth sign, and this is one I want you to really feel into, is that you feel secure with him. So we're not talking the highs and lows of the roller coaster. We're not talking that desperate longing when he's gone and the euphoria when he comes back, or not the anxiety of not knowing where you stand, but calm and safe, stable feelings. That might be warmth in your belly. That might be just peace. I want to be really honest with you here, because the first time you experience this kind of safety with a man, it can feel quite underwhelming, because if you've been conditioned to equate love with anxiety, when the anxiety is gone, you can mistake the peace for a lack of chemistry. Maybe he's just not my type, or he's too nice, or maybe he's more friendship material. But it isn't. That peace is what love actually feels like when it's healthy. And when you feel genuinely safe with someone, not because you've convinced yourself to feel safe, but because he has consistently shown you that you are safe with him, that is one of the most precious things in the world. So don't mistake it for boring. It's the opposite of boring. It really is the foundation of something real. Before I finish, I want to address something practical because I know so many of you are navigating online dating and have questions about it. The apps themselves are not the problem. Bumble, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, Tinder, any of them can lead you to a great man. I met my fiance on Plenty of Fish. What matters far more than which app you're on is the energy you bring to it. Now, if you're on Bumble and you need to make the first move because that's the way the app works, think of you making the first move as an invitation rather than a pursuit. You're not asking him out. You're simply letting him know that you're open, warm, and send him a genuine message about something real in his profile. His dog, like a trip he's taken that he's put on his profile, something that made you smile. Now that is a feminine invitation. That's all it is. And please don't skip the video call. Now, I know it feels uncomfortable, but let's just suppose it's supposed to feel a bit uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable dating in the initial stages. It's nerve-wracking and it's uncomfortable. And that's discomfort is you stretching yourself. And stretching yourself is exactly how you grow. He'll feel nervous too. And you can even say it. I feel nervous. These are 3 words that are completely vulnerable and real and completely disarming. And remember, instant chemistry is not a reliable indicator of compatibility growing. You can have great chemistry with someone, you can have a fling with them, but it's not a reliable indicator of the growth of compatibility. But you know you're onto a really good thing when you start with compatibility. Are we compatible? And that compatibility leads to chemistry. So if you're willing, give it time. Give him a chance to show you who he is, because you might have just stumbled across one of life's unicorns. These rough diamonds, these guys who are secure and loving and can give you the relationship you want. Your comfort zone keeps you safe, but it also keeps you stuck. And the stretch zone is where everything changes. So these are your 8 signs. Let me leave them with you. He's consistent and reliable. He is genuinely curious about you. He communicates openly and vulnerably. He listens. He really listens. He handles conflict with maturity. He respects your boundaries. He makes time for you. And when you're with him, you feel safe. Now, none of these are about perfection. An emotionally available man isn't a man without flaws. He's a man who's willing to show up and keep showing up and work through the hard bits alongside you. And these men exist, absolutely, and you deserve him. So if this resonated with you today and you want to go deeper, get that free training I mentioned at the beginning, the 9 aspects of the adored woman. I will pop it below. And I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Loads of love.